Hey YouTube, Samix Plays here, and today I wanted to discuss the Dev Note Volume 11 preview of Hotfix 1.0.7. Today we're going to be doing the format a little bit differently. I am going to have some gameplay running in the background, and I am just going to go over the hotfix patch notes. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and jump into it, we'll go ahead and discuss it, and I will give my thoughts on it. So he starts off by saying, today I am here to share a preview about Hotfix 1.0.7. We're aiming to release it on Tuesday, August 13th, so that's going to be 5 days from now, as we need additional time to verify some issues. In the meantime, I'd like to share some key updates in this hotfix. He goes on to say, first, we're adjusting the options for the infiltration operation on hard mode. The grappling hook disabled and jump disabled options will be removed from the selection list. Okay, so the reason why they're doing this is because when you go into those infiltration operations, aka hard missions, you would be able to up the percentage, and basically what that means is the higher percentage, the better rewards. So the grappling hook disabled and jump disabled would give you a big boost in your score. However, a lot of them were required to finish the hard mission. So what ended up happening is you would select that option, you'd get to the very end, and then you'd be like, oh, I can't complete this mission because it requires a grappling hook. So a lot of players were upset at that, rightfully so. It shouldn't have been in the game, or if they did implement it in the game, the missions that require you to have a grappling hook, the option shouldn't have popped up, but they're going ahead and just removing both of them. They're just outright removing it, which I think is a good thing. He goes on to say, additionally, the select all option will no longer be deselected when changes are made after selecting all options. Moreover, we're planning further improvements for the infiltration operation on hard mode in Season 1. So yeah, they're saying they're going to add more stuff in Season 1. I think this is good. These include removing occupation tasks and focusing more on eliminations. So basically a higher kill score, essentially, is what they're saying. We're also replacing the random combination of options with preset selections and expanding matchmaking parameters. So instead of just constantly having to reroll, they're saying you can add a preset. That way, if you are just going back to that dungeon, you already have it set up to the way you want it. I think this is very good, very big W. Anything that makes the game better, quality of life changes, I think it's really good. So I think the game needed this absolutely 100%, and I'm glad to see they're adding that. Alright, and moving on, it says, next, let's talk about content adjustments. We're going to add some extra time for you to choose restart options after completing intercept battles, special operations, and infiltration operations. For your preference, restart with squad and restart alone buttons will be provided. So this is really good because a lot of the times when you were trying to sort through your loot or trying to dismantle your loot, the restart timer would basically run out, and then you would have to port back to Albion and then go that way and restart what you're doing. So it looks like they're going to be adding some extra time. I do hope in the future they also make it to where as soon as you restart a instance, you'll be able to just immediately start it up instead of having to wait for that initial timer to drop down. So I think this is a good step in the right direction. Give players, let them restart when they want to restart, and then as soon as they hit that restart button, they can just go and continue what they're doing. I think it's unnecessary to have like a 30-second timer to allow you to do that. So I think they're heading in the right direction with this. I think this is a really good change. Then it goes on to say, additionally, we're making characters invincible when standing on hazardous areas after intercepts are done, making use of the reconstructed device more convenient. So this is good because a lot of people would be trying to loot the reconstructed device, and they'd be, for instance, if you killed the boss in lava or something like that and you were trying to roll your loot, you would still be taking damage and you could just die and it would port you back. So this is good. Very frustrating to stand there and dying while you're trying to loot stuff. So this is a good change. Then it goes on to say the difficulty of Frostwalker mechanism will be adjusted so you can enjoy this void intercept battle through public matchmaking more easily. So this is a pretty big topic. A lot of people were complaining about Frostwalker's mechanics because you have to do it in a public group, and a lot of people were queuing not knowing the mechanics. So basically the mechanic is one person has to pick up flames, and then I believe it's at 7:30 to 7:45 on the timer, a heat orb bubble would spawn around you, and then your whole team would have to stack. I think it's a cool mechanic. I like they added that. It makes it a little bit more fun to have mechanics in boss fights. However, trying to do this in a public lobby where maybe people don't know the mechanics is very frustrating, especially if they have like their mic off, they're not communicating or anything like that. It can be frustrating for a lot of players because people will just run in and not know what to do, and they would end up picking up those flames and then essentially wiping the entire run because they don't know what the flames do. I always recommend before going in those hard bosses, you should always be watching a video. If you played any type of MMO, you know that each boss has its own separate mechanic, and in this instance, this mechanic wipes the whole party. So if you're not sure what to do, just take a couple minutes out of your day, go watch a quick video, make sure you are not griefing your party. Of course, this is going to be way easier in a 4-stack where y'all are in Discord or what have you, and you're able to communicate with each other and designate a runner while the other 3 just do not touch the flames. So yeah, overall, it looks like they are making these bosses easier, so we'll have to wait and see what that looks like and see if players like it. Moving on, it says in special operations, AFK players will be moved automatically to the abort selection during interim review. Also, monsters' HP will be reduced and more ammo will be dropped easily in void fusion reactors. So yeah, a lot of people were queuing up for special operations and then they would AFK. Don't do this, guys. Let's not start this meta to where we're just expecting to AFK in a special operation and just get boosted. Like, it's just scummy. Don't do it. If you don't have the time to play, or if you're just trying to get a free boost, I mean, don't be an asshole, man. Okay? Like, don't go in there and just AFK and strafe back and forth while you're watching Netflix on the other monitor. That's just not cool. You're being inconsiderate of the other 3 people who are there trying to either progress in waves or work for the levels. It really doesn't take that long to level to 40. Don't be lazy. Stop AFKing in special operations. If you do that, you're just an ass. So it looks like you will automatically be aborted if you are AFK during the wave selection. I think it's really good. People definitely should not be doing this. It's really scummy. So yeah, just don't do it. Also, as I said, the monsters' HP are going to be reduced. So it looks like they are making the game somewhat easier, especially in special operations. I do hope in the future they add an option to where we can do hard special operations, because once you are at that hard end game, I feel like normal special operations are too easy. So I hope we get an option to do a hard special operation, and maybe it can be the same thing, right? It drops stabilizers and amorph materials. I think that would be really cool. Then it goes on to say monster spawn intervals are shortened and void fragments, poison attribute located at Echo Swamp Derelict Covert. I cannot tell you how annoying it is to farm inorganic shards. It is my least favorite because it takes so long for those monsters to come out the doors on almost every single location. So that's what they're addressing here. They are shortening the spawn intervals, so they should come out of the doors faster. This needed to be done. The inorganic void farms were just terrible. They need to speed it up in some way, so I'm glad they're doing this. We're also addressing the issue where weapon proficiency is not gained for equipped weapons when using unique weapons such as Luna's stage presence. So yeah, apparently if you had Luna's gun out, you were not getting weapon proficiency for your other guns. So overall, this is really good. That needed to be added. I don't play Luna, so I didn't even know this was an issue, but I'm glad that they fixed this for sure. And moving on, it says, lastly, we have usability improvements. We will enhance your farming experience with several improvements. In Hotfix 1.0.7, we're adding a feature that allows you to quickly identify key information about your equipment by looking at icons in your inventory. You'll be able to see how many ultimate options an item has without opening its tooltip and identify the attributes and archetypes of reactors through icons. Additionally, we're speeding up the tooltip display to help you sort valuable items more efficiently. So this is really good because especially when you're getting a lot of those reactors and you're trying to sort through them to see what stats it has on it, a lot of the times you're having to scroll up and down after you hover over it because half of the attributes on it are hidden. So this is huge. I hope they make it to where you can just scroll over it and make it a lot easier to see exactly what pieces you got. It would speed up the farming time tremendously if you're not just automatically dismantling every reactor you get and you're trying to target farm a specific reactor. You won't have to sit there for like 5 minutes trying to go through 100 reactors to see if you got the stat you want. So overall, this is a really good change. I hope they continue to improve upon this system because the more convenient they can make it, like to show stats right in your face of exactly what you have, it's always a good thing. So I'm really happy they're doing that. Goes on to say one last thing from previous patch notes. where we discuss plans to support build diversity. We noticed discussions in the community about whether socket types need to be assigned 11 times for each loadout pages. Yeah, so basically this was kind of a hot topic over on Reddit. So basically what it is they were changing to where if you have 3 presets, you could socket those presets now individually. So basically what that means is you could have 3 different builds, but that also means you would have to catalyst 3 different times, like fully, to have those 3 different builds. The community's worries were that that's just way too many catalysts to try and test out builds because it takes 7.5 hours to research those. So you're not going to have like 30, 40, 50, 60 of those stacked up to where you can just perma catalyst. And then you would also have to level 1 to 40 a lot more to fully build like one character if you wanted 3 different builds on that character. So that's kind of what they're talking about here. And they go on to say, rest assured, we aim to support build diversity in a more user-friendly manner. If you prefer to use the same socket type across loadout pages 1, 2, and 3, your current setup will remain unchanged. Socket type assignments will only be required if you want different socket types for each loadout. So yeah, basically it means you could just like re-socket. I still don't know if this is like the best outcome. We'll have to wait and see how it actually looks, because if you are trying to 3 separate builds, you still are going to have to use all those catalysts. The way I could see this being fixed is if they let you craft more than 1 at once, because if you're gonna need all of those catalysts to test out different builds, 7.5 hours is just way too long to wait, and especially since you have to level all of those times with all of those loadouts. So I think a good medium to this would be just let us craft as many catalysts as we want, as long as we have the materials, or at least up it to maybe you can craft like 2 or 3 at a time, because as it stands, I think only crafting 1 catalyst at a time right now, and you're trying to go for 3 different builds, it's going to be extremely tedious, and I think a lot of players will get burnt out trying to do that. I don't know though, it might be fine. We'll just have to wait and see how it goes. After that, it says the First Descendant aims to be a long time beloved game. To achieve this, we're committed to improving the game in ways that resonate with you. We deeply appreciate everyone in our communities and will continue to strive to provide more enjoyable content. Thank you. So yeah, overall, man, I think the devs are doing like a really great job. I think this hotfix just basically is a quality of life update hotfix. It's doing a lot of good things to make the game better in smaller ways. So I am definitely happy with what they have here. Going forward, I think we'll kind of iron out the kinks and make sure to keep constantly updating the game to make it better. I think the devs are headed in the right direction. They're being very communicative with the community, and I think overall that's a really good thing. We got a roadmap. They're constantly updating us with what they're doing. They're pushing out patches extremely quickly. They're pushing out hotfixes fast. I think it's just really good. I think they're doing a good job. I do hope that once Season 1 launches, it'll be more than just like running around the map and doing the same missions we've done over and over. Hopefully they do add ways to kind of mix it up so players don't get bored. But I think overall this is a really good thing. I think the devs are doing a great job, and I hope they just keep improving the game and make it fun. That way we can maintain a big part of our player base and just grow the community with the game and all that good stuff. So that's pretty much it. Just wanted to update you guys. I did try a different format this time, so if you guys do like this format better than me just reading the patch notes on a browser, or rather hotfix notes, let me know if you prefer to see it this way. I'm kind of just testing stuff out, seeing what the community likes and all that good stuff, and what format you guys like to watch it in. So that is going to be all. Thank you so much for watching. I am Samix Plays. This is your updated news on the First Descendant, and I hope you guys have a good day and or night, depending on when you're watching. Y'all take care.